Good morning, students. Today's our class is on conditional probability. Before defining conditional probability, we see the two definitions, dependent and independent events. So, see here, independent and dependent events. If the occurrence means happens, if the occurrence of the event B depends upon the occurrence of event A, then the event B is depending on event A. In this case, we say that A and B are dependent events. Clear? If the occurrence of the event B depends upon the occurrence of the event B, then the event B is depending event on A. In this case, we say that A and B are dependent events. Otherwise, we say that the events are independent events. For example, suppose in a bag there are 3 white balls and 4 blue balls. My interest is to take 1 white ball and 1 blue ball from the bag. So here there exist two cases. If the first ball is replaced and the first ball is not replaced, the first ball is replaced and the first ball is not replaced, I am going to take 2 balls from the bag which containing 3 white and 4 blue balls. Suppose if I take here the total balls is equal to 7, 3 plus 4, 7. Suppose if I take white ball from the box 1, then P of A is equal to 3C1 by 7C1, that is 3 by 7. The probability of getting white ball from the box. There are 3 white balls. Favorable cases are 3C1. The outcome, total outcomes are 7 out of 1 out of 7, that is 7C1 ways, 3C1 by 7C1. The probability is 3 by 7. Suppose now the ball is replaced. Suppose if I, before taking the second ball, if I replaced the first ball, then the bag will contain 7 balls. There is no change in the balls. Then the probability of getting the blue ball is 4C1 by 7C1, that is 4 by 7. Clear? First case. Suppose if I consider the second event is not depending on the first event. That means when the ball is replaced, the second case is not depending on the first case. In this case, we say that the two events are independent events. Suppose if the ball is not replaced, suppose if I take the ball, white ball from the box, the probability is 3C1 by 7C1, that is 3 by C1. Suppose if the first ball is not replaced, then the bag will contain only 6 balls. Instead of 7, we have only 6 balls. Now the probability of taking the blue ball is equal to 4C1 by 6C1. Here the denominator will get changed. Here the probability is 4 by 6. There is a change when the ball is replaced and not replaced. When the ball is replaced, the events becomes independent events. When the ball is not replaced, the second event is depending on the first event. Clear? So when the events are dependent events, then we talk about the conditional probability. If the events are independent, there is no change. The probability remains same. When the events are dependent events, when the second event is depending on the first event, then there exists a case of conditional probability. So how we define the conditional probability? Now see the definition, that A and B are two events in the sample space S, and B is depending on the event A. That A and B are two events in the sample space S, and B is depending on the event A. Then the probability of B when the event A has already occurred, that is, we read it as probability of B given A. The probability of B given A, we write it as the probability of B slash A. This means that the probability of B when the event A has already occurred. A జరిగిన తర్వాత B జరగడానికి probability. So this defines P of A intersection B by P of A, where P of A must be not equal to 0. This is called the conditional probability. The probability of B when the event A has already occurred. First event A జరిగింది, next B జరగాలి. So B A మీద depend అవ్వకుండా ఉంటే, that is called P of B given A. Probability of B given A is equal to P of A intersection B by P of A, where P of A not equal to 0. Similarly, suppose if the B event first happened, then the probability of the event A when the event A is depending on B is given by P of A given B, because B is already occurred, already happened. Then the probability of the event A to happen is equal to P of A intersection B by P of B, where P of B must be not equal to 0. This is the definition of conditional probability. So the conditional probability will define when the events are dependent events. When the events are not dependent, the events becomes independent, it will become unconditional. There is no condition. So the events will become unconditional, that means independent events. Then the probability will get automatically as per the definition. Next, see the multiplication theorem on probability or compound theorem on probability, both are same. So what it defines, suppose if A1, A2, A3, so on, An are n events, then probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 so on intersection An is equal to P of A1 into P of A2 given A1 into P of A3 given A1 and A1 intersection. I will write here P of A1 A3 given A1 intersection A2 so on, the probability of An given A1 A2 so on An minus 1. That is the statement of the theorem. Suppose if there are n events A1 A2 so on An, and all the events are dependent, for example, then the probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 so on intersection An. That means what? The probability of happening of event A1, then A2, then A3, so on, then An is defined as by this theorem P of A1 into P of A2 given A1. That means what? The probability of A2 when the event A1 has already happened. A1 జరిగిన తర్వాత A2 జరగడానికి probability into the probability of A3 given A1 intersection A2. This means what? The probability of the happening of the event A3 when A1 A2 happened. A1 A2 జరిగిన తర్వాత A3 జరగడానికి probability. So on, the probability of An last event when A1 A2 so on An minus 1 happened. So this is called the multiplication theorem for n events in the sample spaces. And this theorem can be proved by using mathematical induction. So first we have to prove the theorem for two results, for two cases A1, A2. So first I use the conditional probability definition. So we know that by conditional probability P of B given A is equal to P of A intersection B by P of A. Am I right? Where P of A not equal to 0. This is by definition of conditional probability. So the ninja I can write from the above P of A intersection B is equal to, on cross multiplying, P of A into P of B given A. The probability of happening of two successive events A then B is equal to the probability of the first event A to happen into the probability of the event B to happen when the event A has already occurred. A జరిగిన తర్వాత B జరగడానికి probability, because we are considering A and B are dependent events, and call this is equation number 1. Now put A is equal to A1 and B is equal to A2. Now put A is equal to A1 and B is equal to A2 in the above equation number 1. What we get? Suppose if I put put A is equal to A1 and A is equal to B is equal to A2 in equation number 1, then by equation 1 P of A1 intersection A2 is equal to P of A1 into P of A2 given A1. P of A1 into B plus A2. We'll get A2 given A1. So that proved the theorem. P of A1 intersection A2 is P of A1 into P of A2 given E1. We'll get the only first two terms. So when we apply for three events, we'll get the first three terms like that. So therefore, what I can write? The theorem is true for n is equal to 2 events. The theorem is, I am going to prove this theorem by using principle of mathematical induction. So principle of mathematical induction means we have to show that the theorem is true for n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3 and so on, and assume that the theorem is true for n is equal to k. Then we have to prove for n is equal to k plus 1 also. Then by principle of mathematical induction, it will be true for all integral values of n. Now I am going to prove this theorem for three events. Take n is equal to 3. N is equal to 3 events. Consider what we have to consider: P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. So take it as one event and A3 as another event. It is looks like P of A1 intersection A2. So call this is equation number 2. So by this theorem what I can write? This is P of A1 intersection A2 and it is looks like A1 first event. P of A1 into P of A2 means here A3. A3 given. So what is the set A? A1 intersection A2. So just I am writing as per the equation number 2. A1 should be given event. Here also A1 intersection A2 because it is. But what is P of A1 intersection A2 by equation number 2? That is P of A1 into P of A2 given A1 into P of A3 given A1 intersection A2. So that is, the theorem is true for n is equal to 3 events also, right? So as per our statement, P of A1, P of A2 given A1, P of A3 given A1 intersection A2 for 3 events, P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. Now I am assuming that now let the theorem is true for n is equal to k events. So then if I assume n is equal to k events, the theorem is true, then P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 so on intersection AK is equal to, I am assuming that the theorem is true for n is equal to k. Then what happened by the theorem? P of A1 first probability into P of A2 given A1. The probability of A2 when the event A1 has already occurred. Then probability of A3 given A1 and A2. After the completion of the 2 events, the probability of A3. So on, the probability of AK given A1 intersection A2 so on intersection AK minus 1, and call this is equation number 3. If I assume the theorem is true, I am assuming that the theorem is true for n is equal to k. Now I am going to prove that the theorem is true for n is equal to k plus 1. Now consider probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 so on intersection AK plus 1. So I am assumed already the theorem is true for n is equal to k, and I am going to prove that the theorem is n is equal to k plus 1 also. So what I can write, this is take one element, the AK intersection AK plus 1. So then what we will get? P of A1 intersection A2 so on intersection AK into the probability of AK plus 1 given A1 intersection A2 so on intersection AK. Am I right or not? By using probability of multiplication theorem for two events, P of A1 intersection A2 law, P of A1 into P of A2 given A1. But what I can write from the equation number 3, P of A1 intersection A2 intersection so on intersection AK, what I can write? P of A1 into P of A2 given A1 into P of A3 given A1 intersection A2 so on, probability of AK given A1 A2 so on AK minus 1 into, so up to this by equation 3 into this term as it is, probability of AK plus 1 given A1 intersection A2 intersection so on intersection AK. That means what? It is satisfying our statement. That means the theorem is true for, therefore the theorem or the result is true for n is equal to k plus 1 also. I have assumed the theorem is true for n is equal to k and proved that the theorem is true for n is equal to k plus 1 also. So then what I can say that by principle of mathematical induction, the result or the theorem is true for all integral means integral values of n. This theorem is always true for all n. N means natural numbers. Therefore what I can write? Right statement, P of A1 intersection A2 intersection so on intersection AN is equal to P of A1 into P of A2 given A1, P of A3 given A1 intersection A2 so on, the last term P of AN given A1 intersection A2 so on intersection AN minus 1. Hence the proof. Clear? So to apply multiplication theorem, the problem will be to find the successive events probability of happening of A1, then A2, then A3, then A4. In that case, you can use the probability by using multiplication theorem or compound theorem on probability. See one remark. We know that by multiplication theorem on probability of A1 intersection A2 is equal to P of A1 into P of A2 given A1 when the events are dependent. When the events are dependent, the probability of A1 intersection A2 by multiplication theorem or by definition of conditional probability P of A1 into P of A2 given A1. Suppose if there is no case of condition, there is no case of dependent events. If the card is replaced, if the ball is replaced, the two events becomes independent. So when the events are independent, so what the probability will become? When the events are independent, P of A1 intersection A2 is equal to the P of A1, first probability as it is into, there is no dependency. There is no dependency means it becomes unconditional. That means what? The probability of A2 only. A1 జరిగిన తర్వాత A2 జరగడం అనేది, that is a condition. Now it becomes unconditional when the events are independent events. So in that case, the probability becomes P of A1 intersection A2 is P of A1 into P of A2. Similarly, P of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3. The probability of A1 intersection A2 intersection A3 will become P of A1, P of A2 into P of A3. When the events are independent events. Dependent events means you have to use this formula. When the events are independent events, the condition becomes unconditional. Unconditional means the probability of A2 given A1 is equal to P of A2 only. The probability of A2 given A1 becomes P of A2. So I can say that when the events are independent events, P of A2 given A1 becomes P of A2. So we have two theorems. One is multiplication theorem for dependent events, multiplication theorem for independent events. In the dependent events, probability like this, A2 given A1. A3 given A1 intersection A2 like that. When the events are independent events, the conditions becomes unconditional and the probabilities becomes product of their individual probabilities. Next, see a theorem. If A and B are independent events of sample space S, then prove that A bar and B bar, in the second bit A bar and B, third bit A and B bar are also independent. Proof. Since A, B are independent, so what I can write by multiplication theorem, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B. Am I right? Since A and B are independent, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B by multiplication theorem for independent events. Now we have to show that in the first bit A bar and B bar are also independent. That means what we have to show that P of A bar intersection B bar is, if P of A bar into P of B bar, then I can say that these two are also independent events. We have to show that P of A bar intersection B bar is P of A bar into P of B bar. Now consider P of A bar intersection B bar. To show that A bar and B bar are also independent, I consider P of A bar into P of B, P of A bar intersection B bar. So what I can write by De Morgan's law, A bar intersection B bar can be written as A union B whole bar. This is called De Morgan's law. So using De Morgan's law, I can write it as probability of A union B whole complement. But what P of A bar is what? P of A bar is 1 minus P of A. So I can write it as 1 minus P of A union B. So this is 1 minus P of A union B. P of A by addition theorem plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So but what I can write, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B by equation 1. So I can write this as 1 minus P of A and multiplying with minus sign. Inner side minus P of B minus minus plus P of A intersection B can be written as P of A into P of B by equation number 1. This is equation number 1, P of A into P of B. Now what I can write here, 1 minus P of A minus P of B, and taking outside from the last two terms 1 minus P of A, and taking outside P of B will get 1 minus P of A. So here I can take out 1 minus P of A is common term in the first and second terms, 1 minus P of A and taking outside. In the first term it is 1, in the second term it is minus P of B. So 1 minus P of B means P of A complement, and this is P of B complement. So what on the left hand side? P of A bar intersection B bar is equal to P of A bar into P of B bar. Implies what? A bar, B bar are independent events. That is the first statement proof. P of A bar intersection B bar is P of A bar into P of B bar. P of A intersection B is P of A into P of B. A, B are independent. Here P of A bar intersection B bar is P of A bar into P of B bar. Therefore A bar and B bar are independent events. Now we have to show that A bar and B are independent. In the second bit, we have to show that A bar and B are independent. So now consider the probability of A bar intersection B. P of A bar intersection B. So what I can write, P of A bar intersection B is P of B minus P of A intersection B. Already we have proved this result. Just I am using the result. P of A bar intersection B by known theorem. This is by known theorem. Already we have proved this theorem in the previous topics. P of B minus P of A intersection B. But what I can write, P of A intersection B by equation 1, it is P of A into P of B. So this is P of B, and taking outside you will get 1 minus P of A. So 1 minus P of A can be written as P of A complement into P of B. So P of A bar intersection B is equal to P of A bar into P of B means, therefore A bar and B are also independent events. P of A bar intersection B can be expressed as P of A bar into P of B. Therefore A bar and B are independent events. Similarly, we prove A and B bar, third bit, you do as homework. So show that A and B bar are also independent events. Similarly, P of A intersection B bar is P of A minus P of A intersection B. The same formula, but instead of B you have there P of A. So P of A intersection B, this one, P of A and taking outside, we will get the same result. There ends the proof of the theorem. So see the problems. Problem number 1. Find the probability of drawing 2 red balls in succession from a bag containing 4 red and 5 black balls when the ball that is drawn first is not replaced and replaced. We have to study 2 cases, when the ball is not replaced, when the ball is replaced. Here we have to take successively 2 outcomes and 2 must be red balls. So first write the total number of balls. What is the total balls? Here 4 red and 5 black balls, and mottam total 9 balls are there. So here let us assume that A is equal to the event of taking a red ball. B is also, I am assuming, the event of taking red ball, because we have to draw 2 red balls successively. We have to take 2 red balls successively from the bag. So I am assuming that A is the event of taking a red ball from the box and B is also the event of taking red ball from the box. Now first case, see the first case. So here the second ball is now, first ball drawn is not replaced in the bag. That means the events becomes dependent events. The ball is not replacing in the box. First taking first ball, that will not replacing. That means the bag will contain only 8 balls. Suppose if A is the event of getting a red ball, then probability of getting a red ball in the first case. So total balls 9 and red ball, there are 4 red and 5 black balls. There are 4 red balls and 5 black balls. So the probability of getting a red ball, what is the probability? So the ball must be from red balls, that is 4C1 by the total outcomes are 9C1. Total balls are 9. 1 ball can get in 9C1 ways, that is equal to 4 by 9. Now see the second ball is, first ball, drawn ball is not replacing in the box. That means what? The case becomes conditional. That means you have to find the probability of B given A. The probability of B given A. The probability of A, B when the event A has already occurred. So if the ball is not replaced, the bag will contain only 8 balls. The bag will contain total 9 balls. Because the ball is not replacing, the total balls becomes 8. So the total number of ways of getting red ball is 8C1. Already 1 red ball is already taken. That means what? There exists only 3 red balls now. So the number of ways of getting red ball from the 3 balls is 3C1 ways. That is equal to 3 by 8. Therefore, the probability of A intersection B, that means the probability of happening of event A, successively the probability of happening of the event B. So by theorem, multiplication theorem, P of A into P of B given A. So P of A, what is P of A? 4 by 9 into 3 by 8. So 3 3s are 9, 4 2s are 6. The required probability is 1 by 6. Now study the second case. When the ball is replaced, already I have defined A is the event of getting a red ball. B is the event of getting a red ball. That is also second event, which is also red ball. So here the probability of happening of the event A is equal to total 4 balls, 4C1 by 9C1, that is 4 by 9. First case probability. Because the first ball is replaced, whatever the drawn ball is, replacing in the box before drawing the second event. So that means what? the ball, the event becomes unconditional. That means you need to calculate only P of B. So previously we have calculated P of B given A. Because the card is not, the ball is not replaced, the event, second event is depending on the first event. So it becomes conditional probability. Here the conditions becomes unconditional. The events becomes independent events. So in this case P of B, the balls remain same. When the ball is taken already, it is found to be red, and the ball is again replaced. Replaced means the bag will contain again 9 balls. So now the probability of taking red is 4C1 by 9C1. There is no change. That means what? This probability is 4 by 9 again. Therefore, P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B. So the formula changes for the first case and second case. First case, it is conditional probability. Second case, it becomes unconditional probability by multiplication theorem. So what is P of A? 4 by 9, and P of B also 4 by 9. That is 16 by 81. That is the probability of the second case. See the second problem. There are 12 cards numbered 1 to 12 in a box. If 2 cards are selected, what is the probability that sum is odd with replacement, without replacement? So the problem also comes under multiplication theorem on probability for a dependent events case and for independent events case. So here, understand the problem. There are 12 cards numbered 1, 2, 3, so on, 12. 1 to 12. So what is our requirement? We have to take one card from the box. So that can be done in 12 C1 ways. So I am calculating the favorable number of, total number of cases, exhaustive cases. The number of ways of choosing one card from 12 cards in 12 C1 ways. Suppose if I replaced the card with replacement, first case. Suppose if I replaced the card, the bag again will have 12 cards, and the number of ways of getting one card from 12 cards is 12 C1. Then the total number of cases are 12 into 12, that is equal to 144. The total number of ways of drawing 2 cards successively, one from 12 cards, again one from 12 cards, that is 144. Next, with replacement, and the 2 cards must be, what is the probability, what is our favorable case? The favorable cases, the card must be odd. The sum is equal to odd. When we draw 2 cards successively, the sum must be odd. Sum odd avalante, the first card, suppose the even case cards are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. The even case. Odd case are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Right. These are the even case cards, even case. And these are called the odd case. Now to get the sum, 1 from even number and 1 from odd. Then 2 plus 1, 3. Or 2 plus 3, 5. Our requirement is you have to get an odd sum. Odd sum means one is selected from even number and second one is selected from odd number. Or first select from odd number, then select from even number. Both are possible cases. Both are favorable cases. So in the first case, I want to write the probability P of A intersection B is equal to P of A into P of B, because the card is replaced. Replaced means the events becomes independent events. That you have to understand. When the events becomes independent, when the events becomes dependent. Because the card is replaced. Card replaced means the box will contain again the same number of cards. That means the events becomes independent event. The second event is not depending on first event. Now the probability of getting an even number. Even number means what? That must be in 6 C1 ways. That is in P of B is equal to P of A intersection B. So first we write the favorable cases. So what are the favorable number of cases? So first get 6 C1 into 6 C1 plus 6 C1. One has to come from even number and other one has to come from odd number. So one card can get in 6 cards in 6 C1 ways, and one card getting this from this is 6 C1. Again, suppose if I take the first odd card, then even card, it is 6 C1 into 6 C1. That is 6 into 6 plus 6 into 6. So 6 6 are 36 plus 36, that is equal to 72 are the favorable number of cases. The final probability is P of A by P of favorable cases by total number of cases. Therefore, the probability of A intersection B is equal to 72 by 144, that is equal to 1 by 2. That is the required probability. So the second bit is without replacement. So here the total number of cases or exhaustive number of cases, both are same. So what are the exhaustive number of cases? One card has to get from 12 cards in 12 C1 ways. When the card is not replaced, without replacement, so the box will contain only 11 cards. Suppose if the first drawn card is not replaced in the box will again have only 11 cards. The number of ways of choosing one card from 11 is 11 C1. That is 12 into 11. 11 2s are 22. 11 1s are 11 plus 2, 13. That is 132 ways. The number of ways of getting one card from 12 cards, when not replaced, it is 11 C1, it is 132. Now we have to calculate favorable number of cases. What are the favorable number of cases? So first he has to get from 1. So we know that already I have discussed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 are the even number cards, and odd number cards 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Suppose if I select a card from even number, then it is 6C1 by, so what are the number of cards? 12C1. 6C1 by 12C1. Suppose if I get the card from, so here you have to write favorable number of cases. I will erase it. Favorable number of cases. So favorable number of cases means the sum is equal to odd. That is our favorable case. So odd means one has to get from even numbers. Then the second card has to get from odd numbers. So what are the favorable cases? Suppose if I take a card from the even numbers, that can be done in 6C1 ways. Again one card from odd numbers into 6C1. So even the card is not replaced or replaced, nothing to worry, because we have to get one even number, one odd number. So one even number means the odd numbers remain same. 6 is same as 6, so that there is no change. Here one odd card 6C1, then one even card, that is 6C1. That is equal to 6 6 are 36. Here also 36. That is equal to 72. The favorable cases are 72. Therefore, the required probability is equal to favorable number of cases by exhaustive number of cases, 72 by 132. So I am using the classical definition. So no problem. Here we have considered the dependent and independent cases. You can do in another way also, no problem. Right? Thank you.